If you feel like you're constantly overwhelmed by certain situations, you feel like you're living on it, you feel over emotional, and you sometimes just don't know what to do because it just all gets too much, this video is going to be for you. Hi guys, my name is Alina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about trauma, healing the nervous system. This is such a huge topic, guys. I see a lot of people out there that are literally searching for these type of things. One of my latest videos, how to heal trauma or how to heal from trauma, had so many views, and I had a lot of messages from that video where a lot of people told me that they needed to hear exactly that. When it comes to handling your trauma, there's not a lot of things out there that truly give you like the step-by-step guidance or, tell you what to do without having to go to therapy. But fact is, guys, therapy is expensive. Not a lot of people are able to afford therapy, or they don't have the time to go there, or they just simply can't get a place. I'm here, you guys, to tell you that it's still possible to heal from trauma if you're doing self-therapy. And it might sound a little bit crazy because usually, what people tell you when you're having anxiety or depression or you struggle with something, they tell you, hey, go to therapy. But as I already said, not everybody is able to afford therapy. I was not able to afford therapy for a very long time. And I started to try therapy because I was diagnosed with PTSD. But I wasn't able to get a place. Like, it was just, all these places were so overwhelmed with people and patients, just couldn't get a spot. So I tried, for like 2 or 3 different ones. And it was just like a few hours, like just to basically test it. And to be honest, guys, I didn't really like it as much. Maybe my experience was just bad. I still think that therapy is a really good thing and I definitely want to do it. One thing that I will definitely do in the future is hypnotherapy. That is something that I'm really interested about. I'm actually really interested in hypnosis in general, but mixed with therapy, I think that's just totally awesome. So I definitely want to do that because I just feel like something is drawing me towards that. So I definitely want to do it in the future. But what I do right now is that I'm actually just, doing self-therapy, and I'm watching a lot of tutorials. I'm watching a lot of people, podcasts and coaches that actually do that. I wanted to share with you guys today what I learned. Because it's not just only the trauma. Like, the trauma is basically not just that event that is happening to you. And it doesn't even need to be something like super big. Like, it doesn't need to be sexual abuse. It doesn't need to be, something like super crazy. It can literally be the smallest thing. Like, you were bullied in high school, or somebody told you were fat one single time, or, somebody told you were ugly, or, somebody told you to just shut up, like in a very harsh way. And I want to share a story with you guys from a book that I read, which is The 4 Agreements. In that book, there's a story shared where a little girl is singing all the time. She's like super happy and excited. She's like singing all the time. And her mother, she basically came home and she, usually she likes when her daughter is singing and she's, like doing it with her and everything. But one time she came from work, she was super stressed, she was super overwhelmed, and she had a headache. So her girl was singing as always and was just, like being super happy and like jumping around and everything. And her mother, she just couldn't hold it anymore, and she yelled at her daughter, just shut up. Nobody wants to hear your ugly voice. From there on, that child never sang anymore ever again. Why did that happen? In that moment, she took it so to her heart and so seriously that she just believed her mother like right away. And even if she had a beautiful voice and she was singing all the time and she loved it, she just stopped doing it. So you can see that sometimes just one small little thing can really trap you in a circle of making the same decisions based on an emotional trigger or your past over and over and over again. So what I realized recently is that I have a lot of habits or traits where I develop coping mechanisms or like defensive mechanisms to protect myself, because I was so hurt that I don't want to get hurt again. And that is just, like a cycle. And when you're feeling that, emotionally overwhelmed and trapped, and you just feel like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to break out, like you're literally just tired all the freaking time, you're crying, you're overly emotional, you don't know what is happening, your body is reacting. And the trauma, guys, is not just, the event that has happened to you, whatever it may be, like a big trauma or a smaller trauma, but it's also how your body is reacting to that situation over and over again. And that is basically from your nervous system. Like your nervous system saved this type of information in your body. For example, let's say you experience something like an accident or something like that, where you are freezing, like literally like shutting down, your body shuts down. So every single time now, if you don't work through that trauma, if you don't become aware about it, every single new situation that is kind of like triggering the old situation and kind of like reminding you of it, your body freezes again. And you're like, you literally feel like in that exact same moment, even though it's a different situation. These type of things are happening to you, then you're still processing that trauma and you're still re-experiencing that trauma because your body, like your nervous system, saves it. And guys, you have to think about the nervous system. It's not just your nerves. It is literally your entire body, everything. Your immune system, your cells, your nerves, everything, your brain, like everything in your body. So everything in your body is connected with the nervous system. So when something like this is happening, like in a traumatic experience, and you're not getting comfort, for example, grew up and I couldn't tell anybody, like I couldn't share what I've been through. I didn't receive any comfort, any help, So for me, it is really hard to ask for help. This is like one thing where I shut down and I completely like get in defensive mode when somebody like tries to help me or wants to do something for me and I don't even get it. I rather do it by myself because I think like this is how I always have to do it. And then I'm getting mad that I don't get any help. But like these type of things, long time to actually realize those things. But if you're struggling with trauma, if you're struggling with depression, and as I said, guys, it doesn't need to be like something really, really bad. Sometimes it can literally just be the smallest thing. But if you constantly feel like this, on edge and overly emotional, and like sometimes you don't even know how you're reacting, why you're reacting that way, and it's just stressing you out, then this is because there was happening something in your past that you haven't worked through, and your body is still reacting in the same type of way because your body saves it. So just to define a little bit more, what is trauma? Trauma is basically an emotional response from your body from any scary, stressful, life-threatening, or distressing event in your life or situation in your life that has happened in your past. So your body, as I said, is saving all those type of emotions. Your nervous system saves these type of emotions, and this is why it's so important to not just only work through your trauma, but to heal your nervous system too. You feel overly emotional. Do you fast get snappy or angry or frustrated at the smallest things, like even like when it's raining outside and you were like, oh my god, like now it's raining again, like about literally things that you cannot control? You feel unseen, unheard, like you feel like you're living on edge, like you feel like you don't know what's wrong with you, like you feel like you're just overly emotional and everything is just too much for you. Literally cannot handle certain situations. Do you take things too personal? Do you just shut down in certain situations? You don't know what to say or what to feel anymore? Do you have a hard time making decisions? Or do you have an addiction? Like you're just trying to escape life, you're trying to distract yourself, or you just constantly feel like you have your head in the clouds? That is basically a sign for you that your nervous system is reacting a certain way based on a traumatic experience. So if you're entertaining toxic relationships, or you're trying to desperately help others, you're pleasing people all the time, like all these kind of mechanisms, like coping mechanisms that you develop, is because of unhealed trauma. So we have to make sure that we deal with that we handle that we work through it, that we heal our nervous system so that we can operate and actually live a normal, joyful, exciting, beautiful, and happy life, because everyone deserves that. And guys, what I say all the time is what you've been through or what happened to you was maybe not your fault and maybe it was unfair, but it's in your responsibility right now to actually work through that and handle that so that you can become a better person and not giving your personal garbage or baggage, trauma onto somebody else in the future. What happened with me personally when I experienced my trauma is that I shut down. I knew something was wrong. I couldn't really grasp it and understand it, what and why. I just knew it was wrong. I felt adrenaline, like a kick of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I felt like the need to cry and ask or scream for help, but I literally couldn't. So in every single time where I've been in a situation where I could have said something, my body instead just shut down. So now, years and years later, when I get into a very, hard situation, I created these defense mechanisms to protect myself, to just run away from problems or shut down and not talk about it and not voice what I feel, because I felt unheard and unseen when I was a child. So these kind of coping mechanisms, like you see that there was a pattern created. And this is like the actual thing, guys. It is not only the trauma itself, it is what happens after the trauma. Like all those coping mechanisms that you develop, all these times where you will feel these things over and over and over again, and your body keeps on reacting in the same type of way because of what's happened someday in the past, maybe years ago. Maybe you don't even know why you're reacting that way. And sometimes you might even not know really the situation, what it was. Like there's a lot of people, for example, like they can tell that they feel these certain feelings, like they feel over emotionally snappy, frustrated, all these kind of things, but they don't even know, they cannot really connect it backwards to an event that has happened. And that doesn't really mean anything. Like you don't need to know your trauma in order to heal it. Like you can still heal your body, give yourself comfort and heal your nervous system, even if you don't know what happened. Sometimes, it is actually a mechanism, like a protecting mechanism from your body. Mind can create this mechanism where you just forget about the things, like they weren't even that valid, but still something has happened that makes you feel that way now. But you don't need to certainly know it in order to actually heal it and heal your nervous system. Okay, so just that you guys know that. I'll just explain a little bit of how the nervous system works and why it works that way. Basically, the nervous system, as I said, it's not just only your nerves, it is like your entire system, like everything in your body, right? That is connected. So what happens is it is programmed to be like an alarm system, okay? So whenever there's danger, like obviously years and years and years ago in the past, people were hunting, animals and things like that. So obviously, if you are in a dangerous situation, your nervous system goes off as that alarm to protect yourself. But in this day and age, we still have the same type of pattern, or our body functions in the same type of way, but it's not always necessary. And sometimes it even blocks our blessings, because with, these kind of triggers and emotional patterns that we create, that is saved or programmed in your body from one certain situation, you are building your walls up, but the same walls where you try to protect yourself, they will also block your blessings. As I said, trauma can be anything. Being bit by a dog, being called ugly or fat, being discriminated, the feeling of poverty, abuse, all those kind of scary situations, like any stressful, harmful experience while you're a child or even later in, like growing up, can be experienced as a trauma. Literally be the smallest thing. And this is why everybody literally has trauma, and why so many people are struggling to get the life they want, because they keep on repeating the pattern and they don't know how to break out of it, because they are not really thinking like, oh, I have, such a big trauma, I need to go through therapy. Like so many people, they're literally walking around being this traumatized human beings, and they think like, oh, I'm just depressed, oh, I'm just this and that, like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, oh, I'm just moody, I'm just this, I'm a Virgo. No, you're a bitch because you've been through trauma, and it's okay. Like I am sometimes a bitch because I've been through trauma, but I cannot blame what happened to me anymore. I have to take ownership and I have to take responsibility of working on myself and stop defending myself in situations where it's not necessary. Sometimes I can take things very, very personal. Really tough if you're not working towards it, because your trauma is maybe not repeating itself, but your trauma will show up in certain situations. If you are in a relationship, if you are in a friendship, if you have a family one day, like your trauma will, or this pattern will repeat itself over and over, because it is literally saved in your nervous system. And this is why it's so important to deal with these kind of things. How do you know that you have to work through trauma? It's basically just that you get triggered. You get triggered by, certain movies, when you watch a certain scene and you're feeling like overly emotional and you're getting triggered by it. It can literally be anything. But whenever you're feeling this, overly emotional, like the things that I mentioned before, there's a sign for that you have to work on something, because your body only reacts in a certain way and your alarm system or your nervous system goes off and puts that, trigger, like that switch on, basically danger mode, when there's something that you need to work on. So basically your body will tell you what you need to work on. What does it actually mean to heal your nervous system? It means that you're changing the way of how you are reacting difficult situations where you're feeling these type of emotions, that you're actively being aware of it and making a different type of decision or giving yourself comfort, and in that way healing yourself. So one of the things that you could be doing when you are traumatized is that you're constantly afraid to speak up. Like somebody maybe even ask you, what do you need or what do you want, but you don't speak up and you don't say nothing at all because you're afraid to say it. That could be something. You're addicted of being busy. Like whenever a difficult situation is happening, like difficult emotions are coming up, like frustration or anger or these kind of things, you start to get busy. Like you start working or cleaning, like distracting yourself. Like you need to do something, right? In order to kind of like just distract you from these type of emotions and to not go through the process of feeling it. You can basically imagine that like a fire alarm, that is if it's charged correctly, like the batteries are full, like everything's good, it's not going off unless there's a real alarm. But if that fire alarm is like the battery is empty, like something there's not correctly working, it just goes off anytime. And that is basically what your nervous system does as well, right? There might not be like a certain situation that is, dangerous and, just harmful for yourself, that you need to be protected in that way. But because it is wrongly wired, basically, it is giving up the information again that your body is in danger mode. And this is why you feel these feelings all the time. This is why you feel so overwhelmed. This is why you don't know what to do, because it is basically wrongly wired. Also, the nervous system is based on two parts. The first one is the parasympathetic and the second one is the sympathetic. The parasympathetic means joy, happiness, like all those good type of emotions and feelings, right? Like if you're feeling joy, if you're feeling lucky and happy and excited, like all the good emotions, okay? And the sympathetic is alarm, danger mode, everything like frustration, anger, all these like negative emotions and bad emotions. When your nervous system is wrongly wired, it basically means that your sympathetic is constantly giving out these wrong emotions into your body, like fight or flight, right? Even if there's not like something really crazy happening, but you're constantly feeling this emotional overwhelm. This means that you need to heal your nervous system. And there's a nerve, basically it's called the vagus nerve, to help you center yourself, and where you're able to work through in these type of situations where you feel that way, to give yourself comfort, and in that way repeat it over and over and over again. As always, we have to always practice and repeat, because this is how you reprogram yourself, this is how you learn. And you have to do these things over and over again to give yourself comfort, to create a new wire in your nervous system, to heal your nervous system and make it function in the way that it serves you, instead of harming you and disturbing your peace and your freedom and your personal life. There's a few strategies that I'm going to share with you guys on how you can do that for free at home, literally anywhere where you're at, without having to go to therapy, without having to do, crazy things. Of course, there's coaching out there, there's therapy sessions out there, there's like all these things. But as I said, there's not a lot of people that are able to afford that. And I believe strongly that you can heal yourself. Always go to other people in order to find answers. But I'm telling you guys, sometimes all the answers are within yourself. And sometimes you just have to listen to yourself, and you have to become aware, and you have to reach a higher level of consciousness in order to really truly understand yourself better and live in a different way. As I said, changing is not changing your entire personality. It is actually becoming consciously aware of who you truly are. So in order to change yourself, you don't need to go to somebody else. You need to look within. So what you can do at home or wherever you're at, whenever you feel like a certain situation is coming up, this is called like flip the switch, okay? So you can flip the switch at any time whenever your body is going into that alarm mode, okay? First thing is flip the switch with your vocals, with the chord, okay? That basically means humming and singing. And you might think like these things are a little bit ridiculous and like, what? This is how I'm doing this? This is how I'm healing the nervous system? But yes, you can do that. Why? Because humming and singing, guys, if you do this, like you're getting happy, like you're getting excited, you know? Like humming and singing is a very joyful and playful way. And a lot of childs are doing that. I remember when I was a child, I used to like hum and sing all the time. And then at a certain point, like I got told I need to shut up, I need to be quiet, I don't need to be like annoying. And then I stopped singing, just as I told you with that story of that child, right? So in order to give yourself that kind of comfort, a lot of things to heal yourself is actually finding back into childful play, things that you can do that you enjoyed as a child, because those are the things that generally made you happy back then. So by recreating that situation, you're healing your inner child, you're giving your inner child comfort, and this is how you can work through trauma as well, and how you don't have to necessarily talk about it all the time for hours and hours and hours, because it doesn't matter how often you talk about it if you don't heal your nervous system. Because even though you talk about it, you acknowledge it, that your trauma has happened, that you've been through that situation, if you don't heal your nervous system, your body still keeps on repeating, throwing out these emotions at you. So humming and singing is a very playful method of calming yourself down. Second way is something that you can do, like you can go for that in a room, like where you're alone. For example, if you are getting frustrated at work or something, you feel like all these, living on edge, like fight or flight kind of emotions are coming up, go into the bathroom, put your hands on your chest like this, okay, like high-fiving your heart basically. Put your hands on your chest like this and, tell yourself some words of affirmations. I am safe. I am okay. I am loved. And repeat that until you calm yourself down. Breathe. Like sometimes, guys, breathing is the answer. Honestly. And it's so simple. It's so simple that it's honestly ridiculous, because so many people, it is so simple that a lot of people think it must be complicated for me to do that. No, it's actually very simple. Sometimes all you gotta do is breathe deep and tell yourself some words of affirmations to calm yourself down. Because what has happened when you were a child, or what should have happened when you were crying, like, I don't know, you were running, you fell down, you hurt your knee. What, usually our moms doing, they hug you, they give you comfort, they tell you you're safe, it's all gonna be okay, like they give you words of affirmations of showing you love and comfort, and that usually helps make the pain get less, right? So if you do that for yourself, even if you're an adult, and it might feel, like a little bit weird or crazy in the beginning, but I'm telling you, this calms you down. Because in the end, guys, we're all just little children still, deep in our hearts. And especially if you are traumatized, if you've been traumatized, you are still somewhere that little, small, hurt child that maybe haven't gotten the help and the comfort that it needed at that specific time. And this is why you keep on repeating those patterns. So you need to give yourself comfort. That is the most important thing. Then there's two other methods. The first one is taking a warm bath. Basically very simple as well. Taking a warm bath, taking some time to relax, calming yourself down, feeling comfort, feeling love, feeling peace. Those type of things, they can really, help you. And the second way is cold therapy. Basically, that means that you can, go under the shower and you turn the shower cold and you get exposed to like a lot of, cold water. But it can help you, make you understand and learn that even in dangerous situations, like situations that are not really comfortable, when the cold water is obviously like hitting you and you're getting like, oh my God, you can tell yourself, I'm okay. And you can train your nervous system in dangerous situations to react in a normal way and to not act out, to not go crazy, to not like ring the alarm like crazy, right? So these type of things like cold therapy can really help you, because in that situation, you obviously know, like it's just the cold shower, you're not in danger, and you can train your nervous system in that way to react and calm itself down in a dangerous type of situation. Two other methods are journaling and auditing your day. Journaling basically just means that you're, like in the end of the day or in the morning, you're writing down how you're feeling, you're writing affirmations as well. And auditing your day basically means that you have a book with you all the time and you are writing down like all the time on how you're feeling. And it might seem crazy in the first, in the first couple of days, but you will soon see that a lot of situations are just repeating itself and you keep on reacting in the same way. But once you become more aware, because you have to write it down, this is helping you to recognize those type of situations and to help you make a different type of decision. Because usually why people are struggling is because they're just so unaware. They're just so, unconscious about the things that they do, the things that they feel, the things that they are, So you need to audit your day, write down every single time on like when there's a difficult situation. It can literally be the smallest thing, like a bill is coming home and you're like overreacting, or somebody's sending you a text, a message, and you think like, oh my God, this person has something bad to say. Like somebody's telling you, I need to talk to you. And you right away think, oh my God, it must be something negative. Like maybe I've done something wrong, like overly reacting in a situation where it's not necessary. These are the type of things. And that's when you know that you are triggered by something. So write those situations down and then think about it, right? Reflect on them. And with that, you're getting more and more aware. And with being more aware, you are able to make different types of decisions with time, because you can finally reflect on what is actually triggering you. But if you don't know, how should you know how to handle it? So you first need to write this all down, all your emotions that you're feeling in all these situations that are triggering you, in order to become more aware of them, and then actively finding something in those type of situations that can calm you down. And then the last thing is meditation, of course. Always meditation, guys. As I said, usually people always try to find the answers outside. The answers are always within. So learn how to get close to yourself. Learn how to be at peace with yourself. And don't push it away. Like I hear a lot of people that are usually telling me all the time, I started meditation, but it wasn't for me. I fell asleep, or, my thoughts were not stopping to run. I couldn't focus. Like meditation, there's no right or wrong, guys. When I started meditation, I was frustrated as well. My thoughts were running like crazy. I couldn't sit still. I had my eyes open. I, had thoughts running. I was thinking about, what I should eat for dinner. What should I do in the morning? All those type of things. And I couldn't focus. And then the next time I done it, I just completely fell asleep. And I woke up hours later and was just like, what the hell did happen? Like, I just wanted to meditate real quick. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then, hey, maybe this is actually what my body needed. Maybe it needed to sleep. Maybe it needed some rest. Maybe my thoughts just need to run at that specific time. You need to just embrace how you feel. And if you feel like your thoughts are running, embrace your thoughts and be like, okay, back, focusing, breathing, focus on your breathing, right? And with that, you're getting more and more centered. You're finding more to yourself, and you're learning more about yourself and how you're reacting. And that is always the key on understanding yourself better and being able to truly change your life, because of you become aware of who you truly are and what you truly need and desire. So guys, that was today's video. Start doing those things. We should not become toxic because we've been through something. We shouldn't become the red flag because we've been treated by a red flag in a certain way. We should be better than that. We should not let that what happened to us, whatever it may be, define ourselves and have us stop from doing the things that we actually want to do. As I said, the walls that you build up to protect yourself are the same walls that block you from your blessings. So you need to work on yourself. Stop being lazy, stop procrastinating. You need to start now, because I'm telling you guys, I'm working on myself since many years and the journey will never end. But I'm doing this for myself because I truly want to live my life in the best way that I really can. I want to be a great mother. I want to be amazing with my children as best as I can. I will probably do a lot of things wrong still. I will probably do things, that I never wanted to do. But it's a learning experience. And the more you become aware, the more of you handle your problems. I mean, like, we all have problems, It is not like you are the only one that is suffering and struggling. Everyone has their problems. It is just how you react to them, how you choose to react to them, how you are dealing with them. You cannot be lazy. You cannot procrastinate, because in the end, guys, it doesn't matter. Nobody actually cares. And I'm telling you guys this out of love because, let's say, for example, I was at a job and I had to work. Nobody cared. I was having a hard time going to work and doing my job right, because nobody cared for my trauma. The systems, you know, for therapy and like offering help for these type of things are really bad. I'm telling you, they're really bad. And if you do not learn how to handle these things yourself, if you do not learn how to coach yourself, do self-therapy, taking responsibility, and start changing by yourself by just simply becoming more aware, it's up to you. And nobody's gonna care. And I had to learn that the hard way, you know? I thought, okay, maybe, you know, like I can actually take my time to heal certain times in my life. No, I couldn't. There was no room for doing that. I had no time and no money to go to therapy at a certain point. You know, I couldn't just call in sick just to, you know, do an excursion, just to go to Bali and find myself. I couldn't do that. And that's also why I started my business, because I wanted to have that freedom to do everything by myself, to, you know, to be able to heal while I'm running my business. And this is literally like, I am so grateful for what I do, because I would never be able to put this much time and effort into myself right now and taking that much time to heal if I wouldn't have this business. And I'm forever grateful that I actually took the decision to do that for myself. But it is still possible, even if you have a corporate job, if you have a 9 to 5, you just stop need to procrastinating. You start to need to work on yourself. Even if you're just like listening to a podcast for 15 minutes each day and auditing your day and writing down on how you're feeling and what kind of situations are triggering you. But you need to actively do something. Because if not, you're going to be that negative Nancy. You're going to be that walking red flag. You're going to be that person that nobody can actually have them around. You're going to be that person that is not able to love yourself. And because of that, you're not able to give somebody else the love that that person might need. And that will be up to you. That will be your fault then. Because everyone is responsible for themselves. So stop thinking like it's all gonna, you know, work itself out. Stop putting everything under the carpet and hoping and praying that, you know, it's gonna sit itself out and you're all gonna be fine one day. No, you're not gonna be fine if you're not working on yourself. So I cannot stress this enough, guys. Let's do this together. Let's grow and heal together. We all got this. Enjoyed this video. If you learned something for yourself, if you are trying some of these things that I just mentioned, drop it in the comments, leave me a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to my channel to not miss any videos. And I see you guys in my next one. Bye.